The crowning of Mary Magdalene. This video is all about that, basically, the union, Yeshua and Mary Magdalene, the divine balance, it's all about that. And I've been talking a lot about twin flame union lately, and I've been talking a lot about Ma'at as we move into next month for me, which is just around the corner actually, which is Ma'at month, meaning the goddess of cosmic truth. I want to pause there a little bit. Cosmic truth, order, divine order, balance, justice, reconciliation. I call it reconciliation. So it's like, we're coming into that place of just like real authenticity now. And everything that is non-truth is being exposed on a massive level out there and in here to ourselves as well, right? So there's a real leveling up. There's a real balancing of the scales, okay? Which is a beautiful thing, but it is a little bit chaotic, isn't it? As we have these frequencies of the divine masculine letting go of his control, allowing, the divine feminine to come in so she can be more about the love. Everybody's shuffling around to make it fit. Union is upon us, okay? So in this video, I'm going to talk about the divine union. I'm going to talk about the gospel of you, how Mary Magdalene wants us to find our voice and our own truth, all of the above. But first of all, let me share this beautiful picture with you now. How stunning is this? My friend Esther actually shared this with me, and she was traveling in Portugal, and she sent me this picture, and I just nearly burst into tears because when a picture speaks 1,000 words, I mean, there is Yeshua lovingly and in his power, holding that crown and placing it on his beloved's head, Mary Magdalene. And I mean, we don't really see pictures like that very often, but they are hidden in plain sight, which is exactly what, Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, they all speak of this. There is so much reference to the divine feminine, even in the very, very sort of like masculine dominated world of churches and things like that. Everywhere she is hidden in plain sight. You will never erase the divine feminine, but now she's been hidden in plain sight. Now she's not going to be hidden in anything. She's in plain sight because we're allowing her to step forward within us. So with the crowning of Mary Magdalene, Yeshua is in his power. He's standing there in his sovereignty, or floating there. And, and Mary is coming in. That picture that you just saw is a beautiful balance of both of them. So if you want to equate your divine path forward to do with your union, speak about your inner Yeshua or your inner Mary Magdalene, because that's essentially what is going on within you. And the kingdom of heaven is within you, because look at the picture. That is what it looks like. So as we go through these big shifts and changes, yes, there's a lot of purging and heartache and pain that needs to come to the surface, because in a way, that's why there's been a lot of grieving, because we're letting go of how we've always been. Okay, the month of August and the run-up, September, August, has been so much about grief, so much sadness in the heart. Many loved ones have left the planet. Many contracts have been collapsed. So that is like from lifetimes after lifetimes after lifetimes. We've been so used to striving and being in pain that all of a sudden, the very thing we want to let go of, we're grieving over. But that's how it's going to be. We're grieving an end of a timeline, right? And that's what I've written here. I've been channel writing all about this morning. Relinquishing control. That's the divine masculine saying, finally, you can step forward, divine feminine. Step in, come join me. He doesn't need to control anymore, because she's now we are now allowing more love to come through us. We want to feel that love of the mother. We're now starting to address our trust issues, because many of us do have a trust issue to do with the divine. We may think we trust the divine, but actually we have been through so many intense, traumatic lifetimes. Like how many times do you watch the movies or you hear people say, God, why have you forsaken me? Do you know what I mean? Even Yeshua had a moment with that when he was on the cross. Why, Father, why have you forsaken me? And get quite emotional when I say that, because as a human, we feel, that sometimes our pain is so intense that we forget that it's actually in there is divine love. But we just see it from our human self of just like so much pain. Life is coming at me and it's killing me. And we don't realize it's happening for us. You know what I mean? But that's the path of the process that we walk, right? So, I'm just going down my list here of union, balance, truth. I mean, essentially, as I say, we're going into Ma'at month, which is all about, the cosmic order, balance, truth, justice. Everything is balancing up. It's Judgment Day, not just out there with people you've had a situation with or whatever. It's with yourself. You've got to come right with your karma now. You've got to balance those scales. Are you team you, or have you booked out and are you just like disconnected from your whole being? Do you know what I mean? You've got to come home. It's time for you to come home. And that means calling all of our soul aspects home, all of those aspects that broke away through trauma. And those are the aspects that vibrate here going, yeah, you're not loved. You're not loved. You're not safe. Certainly not safe. You could die at any moment. Do you know what I mean? But when we start to address that these are just frequencies that are lower vibration, a story played out, something hit you super hard and it chinked a bit of your armor and a chunk of you fell out. That's soul loss. And now what we're doing, every moment we're having an aha moment because we've agreed to choose love, not pain, because we've chosen pain so many times that we've kind of looking around ourselves and going, well, this is kind of the outcome of choosing the illusion and pain. This is how far I've got. And every day seems to be the same. Painful. So now we're kind of getting to the point where we're like, well, one thing I haven't consistently chosen, me, love, that maybe this isn't the bad thing that's happened to me all the time. Maybe I just need to change my perspective and the story I tell myself, which I'm going to get into in a short while now. So, I mean, timeline of truth, fact-based. So I've basically written out a timeline of truth. That's where we're in right now. And fact-based versus heart-based. So this is what we're essentially shifting from. We don't want to get rid of our minds. Our minds is a powerful, powerful tool for manifestation. It assists us. It assists us, meaning our heart. Okay. It assists the heart when we're actually in creation mode. It assists the divine feminine in bringing an idea into land. But if we let the mind lead, then we come up with zero every single time. And what I mean by that is your mind will give you, if you're living in your mind, you're going to be, which could be like divine masculine in the shadow controlling, you're going to be living in a limited world. Everything is going to like have longevity from here to here. Okay, that's done. Do you know what I mean? You just don't have room to move. Everything is lack. Everything is scarcity and very frustrating. And you don't feel safe. But if you live in a heart-based reality, that is a limitless, infinite possibilities, right? So what's happening here is all our timelines, our head has led us. And now we want to go into the heart because we want to just flip it around. We want the divine feminine to lead. Yeshua placing the crown on the divine Mary Magdalene. We want Mary Magdalene to lead, and he will support and hold and be with her. And everybody's going to take their rightful places. The scales must balance, right? So that's kind of what's happening here. So to have that massive transition and change, belief systems have to fall away. You can't just wake up tomorrow and go, yeah, I get what you say, Marie. Okay, boom. No. Belief systems have to fall away. It's a process. So be gentle with yourself and accepting of yourself as to where you are in this moment. It might not feel great, but you know what? It's where you are right now, and it's okay. Because it's not going to last forever. Acceptance of where you are at. Acceptance is the key to joy. If we keep thinking, well, we should be there, we're absolutely not going to get there. But if we can just be more loving and accepting of where we are in this moment of massive transformation, and that you're doing so well, you've done so good. Just click back to last year. Where were you this time last year? Not here. So you really are expanding and moving forward, right? So be gentle with yourself while this transition of shifting from a head-based reality to your heart. This is what being a free thinker is all about. That is where the union then comes online, right? Because you're allowing it, right? So now it's all about speaking your truth. And as we move into Ma'at month, I'm going to be speaking more about this because this is about sovereignty. This is about, all of your soul parts, all coming back home. Everything is balanced. The right person is at the front of the line. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, meaning your heart, it's like everything is coming into balance. And, think about when you go to the chiropractor, if you need to balance the body or realign the spine, there's going to be points when you're like, oh my God, that hurt. And always when he turns around and he says, take a nice breath in and relax. And he's going to snap you over his knee and you're like, oh, you control contract. Do you know what I'm saying? It's a bit like that. It's like spiritual chiropractic. It's like Mary Magdalene and Yeshua saying, just relax. And we're just going to move through this transition. Crack. You know what I mean? You can't help but contract because you know what's coming. There's a little bit of pain to move through, right? But it's to a means to an end, okay? So now I really want to move into Mary Magdalene. I mean, like, you know, she has been with me so much. And for many of us, she never left our side. And Mary Magdalene walked with me when I was in Avalon. You know, she held my hand all the way through because I really had to go to my pain and to the places that really kind of made me, as my inner child, scared. I don't want to look at those parts, you know? And now I'm slowing it right down. And she holds my hand continually. And she allows me to come into this space inside where I haven't felt safe for a very, very long time. And I know all of us have had the same thing, you know, and I'm going to do a video on a lot more depth on this. But, you know, we're kind of like, oh, come home, come back to the heart, you know, come back here. But the thing is, if home life here hasn't been that great and it's a little bit dysfunctional and you don't feel comfortable with the silence, you're going to do everything you can to busy yourself out there. So not many of us have wanted to come home willingly, but that's the process. So now everything's starting to shift in a very, very big way. It's undeniable. And I'm now starting to slow everything down in my life. Everything's starting to become more peaceful and I feel more soothed in my soul and safer. So I'm happier to be in this physical body. And I think that is a Marie process, but I also know that that is a humanitarian process, meaning like collective. I think we're all starting to feel our own versions of that, right? So I wonder why my computer's pinging at me. So sorry about that. Distracted by the 3D world. So now Mary Magdalene is now calling for our own truth. And we can only speak our truth when we are in our heart. If we're speaking from here, we're speaking about the illusion, stuff that is not real in our lives, right? So she wants us to come in here. Now, there is a book that I have that I would like to share with you. And I'm going to put it on one of my posts because I always do like to share. If I'm reading good books or I'm working with good oracle cards, I always like to share the love. You know what I mean? And I'm going to start taking some quotes out of this book because it absolutely blew my socks off. Not many books that I read to the end and then start again straight off the bat. This book, The Magdalene Frequency. There we go. Okay. Adele Veneri. She is Spanish, I believe. And this book is a channeled version of Mary Magdalene. Now, the reason I got so excited about this book is for years, I've been hearing Mary Magdalene speak to me in a certain way. And I always thought that it was just Marie's version of events. And when I read this book, it actually confirmed everything that I was receiving from Mary Magdalene. I could have written this book. I mean, I obviously didn't because this wonderful lady did. But I could have written this book because it speaks of absolutely everything in here. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Everything I speak about, the Gospel of Marie. Mary's saying exactly the same thing. Where's your gospel? You know, forget about the fact that whether she says in this book, don't worry about the fact of when I was born or, you know, whether me and Yeshua were actually married or whether, you know, I walked the lands of Egypt at this time or whatever. She said it's about the frequency. This is about understanding and knowing your own inner gospel. Okay. This is about your own inner gospel, your truth, right? So she wants you to speak about the frequency. She wants you to feel her within you. So what she actually says is what I always say is cease to seek me out there and you will find me in here. As soon as you stop searching, you'll find yourself. You are your own beloved. As soon as you stop searching for Mary, you will find her inside of you. As soon as you stop searching for Sekhmet, for Hathor, for any of them, you will find her within you. So this is what this book actually speaks volumes on. And it's a very frequency channeled book. So when you read it, you'll cry your eyes out probably from beginning to end. And it basically it embodied and integrated my own message. And it's going to bring you, like for myself that I've been speaking, I started to doubt myself less. You know what I mean? And I think that's where we're at right now. We don't need to doubt ourselves anymore. That message that you can't get bellowing through you, that message and frequency and feeling that you get is your truth, you know? So that is what I wanted to share about that book. So now, what is the story that you're telling yourself? This is where I want to end this video so you can have a little bit of a practical awareness about yourself as the days go on. I'm going to be doing a lot more on this because I have channeled an awful lot about this whole mindset that we have about the story that we're telling ourselves. Remember, this is about truth. We are in Cosmic Truth Month. We are in Ma'at Month. Everything has to be truth, authenticity, honesty, integrity, all of the things, even our thoughts, our relationships with self. So basically, the bottom line is if it's joy and if it's happiness and it's abundant and all of the things, it means that it's true, right? If it is making you feel shit, it's quite simple. It's not true. You're telling yourself something that is not real. So now, for example, I have been going through my thoughts all day, every day, going, that didn't feel so good. I stop myself and I pause and I say, right, let's give that a little bit of space. That doesn't feel very good. Why are you dreading that? Why are you fearing that? So what's the truth? Or your non-truth that you've told yourself. So for example, I'm going to give you a example to do with my body, okay, my physical body. I'm always getting so many messages through this vessel because I was an exercise specialist for 20 years. And this was my biggest messenger, and it has delivered me so much. Not the good stuff, because I've always suffered with addiction. So of course I was addicted to exercise, I was addicted to this, addicted to that. Do you know what I mean? So this is like my biggest, I reject this more than I accept this. And isn't this kind of quite ironic, because this is the very place we need to come into for us to be fully landed, fully in our bodies, fully in union, right? So this is why I'm using my body as a good example, right? So I'm 48. I'm not exactly a spring chicken. I'm certainly not like I was 10, 20 years ago, and that's okay. But I've got a little bit of a top layer going on. So we are in our winter here in Africa. So, I mean, Marie's waking up and she's living on croissants and coffee and she's not going to the gym. So that is the truth of the situation. However, I sit there and I go, well, I'm 48. Gosh, what's going on with this? Now control, fear, panic, that I can't control my body. What if I put on weight and I can't ever lose it again? I'm not safe. I'm not safe. I'm not safe. That's the energy that my body speaks to me. I'm fast tracking this now, but that's where I arrive at. Not safe. That's the base matter. So I'm now going on and I'm looking at apps. Right, okay, so clearly I'm full-blown hormonal and menopausal. Then I've basically signed up for 4 apps. I'm now doing all these crazy eating ways to balance your body through food. And then I need to sign up for this, and I've got to do that 6 million times a week. And basically by the end of this whole story, through fear, I've gone into such a frenzy. I've self-created this whole challenge, illusionary world, that now Marie's hormones are absolutely upside down. Nothing's fixable. If I don't have these apps, I'm going to die. Do you know what I mean? And I've got to apply all of this. And now this is really stressful and overwhelming because it's a lot, right? And then I stopped and I was like, what's the story you're telling yourself, Marie? Well, first of all, I'm giving my power away. Don't even stop to think about what the truth is going on. It's like, give my power away, because we're so used to doing that. So I was like, okay, well, let's not do that. What if, Marie, you're just eating a few too many cakes in the morning, the weather's cold, you're drinking a lot of coffee, and you're not really going to gym? Could be that that's why you got a bit of a top layer on. So what I'm saying is, there is no problem here, is there, Marie? And I was like, no, absolutely none. So why did you create this massive whirlwind of trauma and challenge and story, which didn't make you feel good from the beginning, middle, or end? Why'd you do that? Don't really know. I just let myself get out of control with everything because I'm so used to letting the story I've made up take hold of my life. So I slammed that in its tracks and I was like, no, it's not my truth. That is not my truth. The truth is everything is fine. I am in full, complete power of my body and my being. Yes, of course I have hormones. Yes, I am going to go through menopause, but it's nothing I can't handle because it certainly ain't that shit show that I just created over there. So I realigned, sat with my story and said, right, now what's the story I can tell myself here? And it was right there. I just shared it with you. Everything is okay. Everything is fine. There is absolutely no problem here whatsoever. It's winter. Summer's going to be here soon and I'll be back to my normal self. You know what I mean? Nothing's a problem. So you see, there's the difference where your mind, without realizing it, can create such a negative gospel instead of a positive one. So that's what I'm going to leave with you there. I am going to do a lot more on this because I've actually been channeling a lot about it. So see how you go with that. But Mary Magdalene, call her essence in, because She's here. She's never left. She's supporting us as she is with Yeshua. So if your union is easily connected with in that way, you're in a Yeshua and you're in a Mary Magdalene, kingdom of heaven is indeed with you, and you know, within you, and we are actually as above, so below. Like, talk to them. They will actually communicate to you very, very everyday scenarios, which always blows my mind. You know what I mean? It's not all ancient stuff. They will come and meet you where you're at and guide you through it. So with that, I'm going to leave that there. So anyway, sending you love and blessings, guys. And just look out for my 99 posts, my 99 portals coming up in September. So I'm not quite exactly sure who we'll be working with, but Isis is starting to expand her wings a little bit. So I'm feeling that she's coming in for the 99 portal. And I'll be most definitely releasing my group date for the Ma'at group, the online private group for those that are really ready to land their sovereignty. So take a nice big deep breath in. Receive your crown from Yeshua. Even you guys as well. You also have a Magdalene within you. Don't forget that.